Hey everybody, Blair Nightingale here, Stock Talk Thursday. It's time, 4:30, back to this 4:30 slot. Thank you guys for being here today. If you're joining us, either friends on Facebook or on YouTube, remember, you can always click the subscribe button, the like button on those pages, and we will notify you anytime we are going live. And we're going live all week long, okay? Monday through Thursday. We've got different live broadcasts happening every day. So that's how you know you won't miss anything. Of course, everything is recorded as well. Jump on over to YouTube and you can see that. Brandy is with us today. I see your question there. I'm going to get to that in just a second. I'll put it up on the screen. If anybody else has comments, concerns, questions, anything at all, as we're going through this, you can put that into the comment box. It's going to send it on over to me, and that way I can dive in, answer a question. Why not have an answer to a question? If you got a question, go ahead, send it on over, and that way I can take a look at it. I can see you guys just coming into the class now. So thank you for joining me here, 4:30 Central Time on Stock Talk Thursday. I like to say this is your one-stop stock shop. At the end of the week, at least the end of the week for us here at Tradeway, Friday still have an open market session. So looking forward to tomorrow, what we do here on Stock Talk every time. What's hot? What's not? What's going on in the news? We had some big news this week. News changes what happens in the market, but I'm going to help you sift through the news. If you knew what to pay attention to, and you knew that I don't necessarily need to pay attention to anything else right now, at least not as much, that hopefully would be very helpful for you as a trader. And that's why we exist here at Tradeway, helping folks like yourself learn how to trade in the U.S. stock market, learn how to make some money in the stock market, helping you make those decisions. News. I also want to show you what I see out there that's performing really well right now, what's not. But if you followed us here on Stock Talk, you'll know I'm not just going to feed a ticker to you. What I really want to do in this time is show you what's hot, show you what's not, but show you a little bit of the mindset and the skill set that's actually behind that. And I think that will bless you, think that will help you out. I want you to know how to go out there and begin to be active. Now, here at Tradeway, we've got programs to teach everybody how to do that, so we can go a lot deeper with those kinds of things in our courses, but this is going to be that great one-stop shop for hot, not, and news. First off, though, I love this. We've got a friend with us here. Brandy Hendricks said, we didn't hit the 50-day, okay? Asking if we hit the 50-day moving average on the S&P. If you're following along on Mondays, 6 p.m. Central Time, that gives us about an hour. We dive into Market Monday to talk a lot, teach a lot more about the stock trading system that we use here at Tradeway, how to put that together. One of those pieces is looking at moving averages. If we know or don't know what a moving average is today, that's okay. What it is these colored lines I've got on the screen simply plots an average. You say, it's kind of boring, Blair. Well, actually, it's really, really cool because what tends to happen is the price tends to pivot at these moving averages. So what Brandy's referring to is this blue line right down here saying, did the price get low enough and hit that blue line today? And of course, it did not. All right. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a hint. Where did it stop? Seems like it stopped right in the middle of nowhere, didn't it? Right? It's extremely helpful for us in our pursuit of extracting profits from the market. And that is the goal, that we understand where stocks are most likely to pivot. Here, just kind of seemed like we were in the middle of nowhere, right? But watch what happens if I take this daily chart where every candlestick you see is a day, and I head on over to the weekly chart where every candlestick is a week. Look at that, right off that red line, which is our 10-week moving average. Exactly the same as the last page. It's just that each one is based on weeks now. So actually the market did not hit the 50-day moving average today. It went down and tapped that 10-week average and began to bounce back up. Struggled at the white line today, all right? Struggled at the 20-day moving average. So a lot of this stuff is visual. So we're going to teach you. You don't need to know all this micro macro economics. We don't need to know all these different factors that sometimes makes it sound like, we need to have a finance degree. We actually don't. Need to have that to learn this system. But we do need to spend some time together looking at these charts and figuring out how we can use these visuals to our advantage. So thank you for that question, Randy. We did not hit the 50-day moving average today. Now, here's what we're going to dive into. What is hot? What is not? Okay? And here's what I want to show you first. Not. Okay? Remember what happened last year. Anytime we have a bear market, and let me actually go back as I'm saying this. Anytime we have a bear market, when the S&P goes down 20% or more from the high. So let me go back to, make sure I can see this here. Okay. March, look at that. Boom. Huge drop. Fast drop too, in particular. It was fast. That is a bear market. Okay, we moved below 20% from the recent high. Why would that be important to you? Well, I would imagine if you are trading, if you've got any investments, if you've got any retirement money, anything that's got market exposure, you would want to know when that's going to happen. Now, we don't predict, but we do find that there are factors that help us see what's coming. And even if we don't know it's coming, we know what to do when it's happening. Typical, right? Common financial doctrine in the finance industry is your advisor telling you, you ride it out all the way. You ride it all the way down and you let it come back. And there's a certain approach to that says, well, that's risk management because we don't know how to time the market. So we're just going to stay in. How many people out there that I'm talking to right now live or by recording lost significant amounts of your capital in 2000, 2001? How about 2008, right? And even last year, I know because I got phone calls last year from people who said, Blair, 40% of my money is gone. 40%, okay? And I never got a call from my advisor. Now, I'm not attacking advisors at all. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying we can do better than that approach to the markets. We just have to have some skill sets, okay? Because even a nominal, I could say, or even reasonable level of skill set in this drop here that said, there are some times where I could say, if it does this, I get out. If it does this, I get in. Would we catch the very top? Would we get out at the very top and save our money? No. We wouldn't get out at the very top. Would we get in at the very bottom as soon as it turns and make money? No, we wouldn't. But we would do a whole lot better than that whole big drop, right? And that's what we're all about, helping you folks know how to protect your money and use these circumstances profitably. That is the potential of what we do. That said, what happened back here? Well, obviously we all know COVID, right? COVID, but it wasn't just COVID. If you remember, it wasn't just COVID. It was energy, oil absolutely crumbled. It absolutely crumbled. And here is a representation of oil. Now, why do I want to show you an entire industry? Because I want you to understand that if you're looking at stocks, okay, we're going to look at some specific stocks. We're going to look at two industries today. Hot energy, not hot right now. Okay, it came down. Look at this. Let's just talk visually for a second. It comes down and it hits this level right here at about $46. Okay, goes way up, comes back down, hits that level again, right about the same level, $46. Back up. Today it broke that level. Okay, today it broke that level. This is what we call bearish, right? The bears or the sellers are in control of this industry right now, right? A lot of energy stocks are going down. Energy prices are going down. And why does that matter? Because if you are out there looking for a stock trade and you know that this particular industry is really not doing well, then that might be something you say, I am going to be at least extra cautious with how much risk I'm willing to take trading something like XLE, in this case, just a representation of the energy sector, right? This is a helpful tool. This is a helpful tool for us to know, I'm just going to avoid that. Right now, I'm going to find some patterns and trade those stocks. But if I find one in energy, it's something that I'm going to manage risk by either not trading or trading significantly less money in it because it's just not performing. Right now, it's not doing well. Okay, not doing well. Now, back to my COVID comments. I'm not saying that it's doing, it's going to crash the way that it did, but it is trading at the lowest level that it's been at, and not necessarily just this chart here, this particular fund we're looking at, but oil itself hasn't traded at these levels in some cases since February of 2020. Okay, so that was a factor. That was a big factor back then. So it's gone down quite a bit. It is just not producing right now. It is not performing. So that would be one I would say we want to avoid that until we start to see some recovery. Because if we're going to buy stocks, okay, we're not talking about options trading yet. We're talking about buying stocks. We can make money off of it when we buy the stock and the stock goes up. So we don't want to try to catch a falling knife, as they say, and buy this while it's going down, okay? So I know some new folks have joined us since we started. Hello, hello, hello to all of you guys out there, Facebook, YouTube. If you have any questions or comments, anything as we're going through, go ahead and drop that in the comment box. I would be happy to say hi and answer any questions that you might have. So that's energy. We're looking at energy. So that could be helpful to me. Man, if I knew that, I could avoid that. Now I want to show you something else. Let me ask you this question. If somebody out there wants to put it into the comments, if we have a brave soul with us who could pop it in the comments there, what's something in our economy right now? I'll give you 2 hints. We talk about it absolutely every day. And it's something that humans will always need. We talk about it every day. And it's something that we as people will always need. We'll always need. Okay? That's 2 pretty big hints. Now you're going to see the title here. How about this? How about healthcare? How about healthcare? While other industries are choppy, up and down, doing well, then not doing well, look at healthcare since COVID. On the left side of your screen, that drop, that's COVID. Okay, that's COVID. Fairly quickly, we're looking at April 20th here. Well, let's be fair. Let's go right here. June 12th, even a little bit earlier. Okay, June 9th, it's back to pre-COVID levels. And it's never looked back. All right, so now we're looking at a different sector, right? So if I look at this and I say, this is really hot, then maybe as I'm going and I'm looking for trades, I'm going, well, I probably want to avoid energy, at least right now, okay? And I want to go and find something that's actually doing pretty well, okay? And here you go. We know these names. Moderna, right? It's had some volatility recently for sure. Some of these are very volatile stocks. But it's performed very well. Of course, here's another one we hear about a lot. Pfizer, right? I mean, March of 21, $33, hit $52 yesterday. Okay, Johnson & Johnson, there's another name, right? These are all the vaccine companies, right? Regeneron. These are extremely hot. I'm not saying absolutely every stock in healthcare is doing well. We teach you a system of knowing what stocks to trade and what stocks not to trade. But this is a really simple way. It really is very simple to go. Once you learn how to identify patterns, which we teach you how to do, once you learn how to identify where you would buy and where you would sell, which we teach you to do, then you can come in and you can look at these industries and go, well, which one's going up and which one's going down, right? Anybody can look at a stock chart and go, it's moving from left to right, bottom to top. Or it's moving left to right, top to bottom. The stock's moving up or the stock's moving down. And that's really all we need to get a general idea of when we're looking at these to help us go, man, what industries are performing better than others? And right now, energy is down. In fact, I said it's down as much as it's been down since February 2020 when all of this started, okay? Healthcare has never looked back. That's some very, very helpful information as we're making decisions with our money, okay? So I want you to understand hot and not is something that we can look at on multiple levels. We're looking at specific companies, but if you know how, then we can go in here and we can get a really easy and quick visualization, right? Visual representation of what is this industry doing right now and how can that help me? Joshua says food. I love that. That is a fantastic answer and 100% right. Excuse me, not ultimately what I was going at there, Joshua, but I got to say, you got me because that's absolutely true. I talk about food every day and we will always need it. We will always need it. Which begs the question, how come we haven't talked more about nutrition since this pandemic began? Oop, just throwing that out there. But anyway, money, Teresa says money. And money, that's a big one too. And let me just show you this here. Let's just look at this quick. Well, could we look at financials? Sure we could. We could look at financials. How's that been doing, right? Not so great there. COVID. And man, it's just been ripping higher. But in this area, would you want to be doing that? No, less likely so. Less likely so. So there's ways that we can look at that. But yes, money's definitely a big one too. Food, money, and healthcare is intricately tied to both of those. And I'll tell you who's making a whole lot of money right now is a few pharmaceutical companies that have made these vaccines that are being marketed to governments all over the world. How would you like a product that you can sell that is being mandated? Not that I'm trying to make a political statement here, but it is being mandated. It's certainly being recommended, and it's being sold to nations all over the world. So these companies are performing extremely well. This is not my recommendation to go out today and put all your savings into Johnson & Johnson. We still want to use the trading system that we teach here at Tradeway to make buying and selling decisions. But as far as finding what's hot and not, it's a pretty easy find to say these pharmaceutical companies are making a pile of money off of what is happening right now. And they're performing very well in the stock market as a result. Okay. So hot and not, and I want you guys to know this week, let's go back to the S&P. Now, if you were in any of the Tradeway programs, you would know that I and other coaches here at Tradeway have been telling our students all week. Let's blow this up a little bit for you guys here. Okay. What are we at today? Thursday. So Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, looked a lot different on Monday, didn't we? Now, the start of the day, it had actually dropped down, right? That long wick you see there, that line, that actually shows that the market dropped down. We're looking at the S&P 500 now. It dropped down. Our caution to students this week was the Fed. Okay, did a whole episode on the Fed and Market Monday. You can see that on YouTube. The Fed reported and said what Wall Street didn't want to hear. The Fed is actually spending billions of dollars every single month, and they are purchasing assets, bonds. They're buying them. They're stimulating the economy. They're spending money. And they said this week, you know what? We're going to start rolling that back. We're not going to do that as aggressively, right? And they announced when they're going to start rolling it back. It's what they call tapering. So Wall Street didn't like that. We told our students, hey, pay attention to that this week. That's going to matter. Okay, that's going to matter. And it did. Now, we were already at resistance. Look at our pattern here, guys. Support is down here. Resistance is up here. We floated along. We started to fall. And then we got the Fed news. But guess what? here at Stock Talk Thursday, we always want to let you know what's hot, what's not, what's the biggest news item to look for, because there's so much financial news. I don't want you guys to have to waste your time. Some of us like reading this stuff. Most of us don't. What's the goods? What's the one thing I need to know and watch for next week as a trader? Well, I would say this. The market is still digesting this whole tapering thing I just explained or even just introduced. Next week, though, the Fed is going to meet again. Okay, this is a big annual meeting. They get together, they go to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And what that means for you and I, we don't need to know all the ins and outs of what they do, but we do need to know that next Wednesday, they're going to make a statement. Wednesday afternoon, the Fed is going to make another statement. And you better believe the market is going to be listening. So if you are a trader and you're out there and you're in an active position, it affected the stock market pretty heavily this week. And that announcement, no doubt, is going to have some kind of an impact next week as well. We just have to wait and see what's the language. How does the market react? It's not so easy to predict how they're going to react. So it's very important that you and I learn the system of trading, because you and I can't know what the market is going to do. We can only know what we are going to do. And we'll be confident in what we are going to do if we learn the stock trading system here. So if you haven't yet, you can head on over to tradeway.com. Step 1, start your journey. It's our introductory course right there on the main page. You can learn our whole system, get a preview to how we do options on there even as well. If you're wanting to get some options training, that's our Step 1, start your journey right there on the main page, tradeway.com. Energy is a not for me this week, okay? Energy is a not. But remember, you can look at in fact, I'm going to do this one thing before we sign off. Remember, you can look at the sectors, right? This isn't meant to be too complicated, you guys, okay? It's just a representation of what's happening in that sector as a whole. If energy is looking like this, then I'm going, oops, that's a downtrend. Make a high, lower low. Lower high, lower low. Lower high, even lower low, and so on. That's where we're at right now. I wouldn't be too keen on that. That's not only going to say that there's probably some stocks that aren't hot. I'm not super hot on the whole industry. It's just not doing well, right? It's just not doing well. It may bounce up a little from here, right? We got some recovery here, didn't we? What about here? What about here? All right, we got some, but overall, it's in a place of weakness. I'm looking for this thing to break out of this entirely. Then we head on over to the healthcare. That's doing very well, right? That's been performing very well. So that not only is showing me what's possible with maybe some individual stocks, but look at the industry as a whole, okay? It's performing very well. As they say, rising tide tends to raise all boats, okay? That's the principle there. And then watch next Wednesday afternoon. The Fed is coming through. That's going to be something we're talking to our students about, something you can keep your eyes on. If you have any open positions, if you're trading, then you'll know there's likely going to be some volatility there on that announcement. There's no guarantees, but it usually, almost always, brings some kind of volatility. So then that means prices are going to shift. Ruth shares with us, I had to stop out today, okay? For those of us that don't know yet, a stop out is a simple tool that we can use in the market that when we call it a stop out, it's also called a stop loss. What does it do? It stops the loss. So if the stock is falling, it's not doing what we want it to do, it'll kick us out of the trade. So we can lose money. That's not abnormal for stock traders. It is not abnormal. No stock trader wins every single time. Good stock traders win more over time. That's the skill set of stock trading. That's what we teach you to do. But the stop out kicks you out of the trade. So Ruth lets us know that she stopped out of the trade today. I see that, Ruth. Never fun to stop out of a trade. But here's what I would say to encourage you, Ruth. I don't know specifically what stock you were in or what the details are, but I would say this, and this is for anybody out there who's taken a loss recently, or if you're going to trade, you haven't maybe traded yet. If you're going to trade, you're going to take some losses. It's normal. It is normal. Now, I understand why it doesn't feel good. I've taken losses and they haven't felt good. But here's the thing. to encourage everybody, trading is not something that we're trying to do one trade at a time. Let me explain what I mean. It's not about your one trade. Okay, I see that. I see that. It's not about one trade. It's about 5, 10, 20, 50 trades. Anybody can make some money in one trade and not be successful over the long haul. Anybody could lose money in one trade and learn to be successful over the long haul, because trading is about having an edge over time. Over time. See, if I did 20 trades and I lose on 7 or even 8 of them, okay, that's 8 trades, maybe 8 in a row. Let's say it was 8 in a row. You say, whoa, I can't have 8 in a row. But if we have an edge, then over time, the edge will show itself and we will get ahead over time. Okay. If we don't, that means there's actually not an edge present, right? You think about counting cards. Now, I'm off my notes here, but I want to speak to what Ruth is saying. If you think about counting cards in a casino, why do they kick you out of the casino? Because you're no longer gambling. You're using math to put the advantage in your favor. Guess what the casino doesn't like to give up? They don't like to give up their favor, their advantage, right? They want you to gamble. And you say, I have a skill set. I don't need to gamble. Okay. Well, they'll kick you out. Well, if we actually have an edge, if we were even counting cards, it's not just one hand, right? 5, 10, 15, 20 plus hands. Over time, you can get ahead. The skill set of trading is just like that. So Ruth, I would just say to you, if you're sticking to the system, you know that you have an edge in the market, just keep going, because over time, even if you take a loss, that's one loss closer to the next win that your system is going to provide for you, okay? Because that's the function of the system. That's a function of an edge, right? So that's a really, really exciting thing when we remember that that's what makes this thing work. That's what helps us do this, okay? So I appreciate you sharing that, Ruth. Hopefully you will just continue to press in, press on. We want to win big, lose small when we lose. We definitely want to lose small when we lose. That's why the stop out is so important. So you stopped out today. Very, very good. That is a huge, huge discipline, right? In trading. That's a strong suit for any trader, is the ability to say, this trade is over. I know that over time I can get ahead. So let me go ahead and take a small loss and move on to the next one. Okay. That's what we do. That's Stock Talk Thursday. This isn't fluff around here at Tradeway, you guys. We help thousands of students every day turn this into an actionable skill set that they are using. And that's what I want to help do for you guys as well. If you, again, are not in the program, go ahead. It's just a 2-day event online. You can meet us. You can see the system. You can put it to work for yourself. Head on over to tradeway.com. You'll be able to take a look at that. You can always reach me at support@tradeway.com. Support@tradeway.com. Blair Nightingale. If you have any questions, if you'd like to learn to trade options, anything you want to do, you can reach out to me there and reach me. Also, tradeway.com. Appreciate you guys being on here with me every single week. We're back on Monday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for Market Monday. I look forward to seeing you guys then. Have yourselves a good night, good weekend, and happy trading.